welcome back to La La Land, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Shadow and Bone. So without any further ado, let's go down the rabbit hole with it. Okay, so just to start off, what this book is about is it is a YA fantasy where this kingdom has been at war for many years. It's got this mysterious sort of dark place that's like ripping up the land and destroying stuff, and so this kingdom is very torn apart and they need food. It's been at war for so long. And the story follows a map maker who is part of the army, and at some point she is taken to the palace because they believe she can help stop the war. That was a horrible description. Basically, she reveals a power that could help stop the war. So then she's taken to the palace and everything, and she discovers there. That is a horrible description of the book, but it's the best I can give you right now. I'm not good at descriptions. You should just really look one up. Anyway, so I had seen a lot of stuff about this book for a while now, and I had it in like a pre-TBR to look at and stuff, but I wasn't just like, the description like overly didn't make me want to read the book. Wonder why.
Is taken to the palace because they believe she can help stop the war.
And so like I wasn't super excited about it, but I kept seeing all this stuff about it, and then like I kept seeing stuff about like the TV show coming out, and then like now that it's like come out, I kept seeing like spoilers for it, and I was like, I don't want to see spoilers for this. So finally I just decided to read it, and I am so happy I did. So let's just start off with the plot, and the storyline is just so smart and so entertaining. Oh my goodness, it's so entertaining, and it just has this rhythm. It's just like moving, and I don't want to say it's quick or like it's just this like really fast plot, but it just has this rhythm to a lot of it that just really just grips you, and it's just very genius at times. I would say that there are some things in this book that are very cliche, but this book is also very original, and for those things that are cliche, they have a bit of an original touch to it. And I overall really liked this plot and really liked this story. I loved this storyline. It just like, this story was so good, and the storyline was just really well written. It was just a really good story, plot, and idea, and just like the rhythm just like carried you through. I think this book was like 9 hours, and just like I whisked through like 2 of those hours so fast. So the characters in this book, oh my gosh, I love them so much. The main character, I really liked the main character actually, and I really liked the main character's sense of humor. There was actually a few points where I laughed out loud because I was like, that's hilarious. But just like, I enjoyed that main character a lot, and I was able to relate to them, but like in different weird ways. Like they have like insomnia and stuff, and I was like, I get you, girl. But like other than that, I'm like, I'm not in a war-ravaged world where I'm not orphaned, you know. But just like super strong main character, enjoyable main character. This was a fun main character to follow. The side characters were also really, really good. They were phenomenal. They had layers, they had arcs, well actually including the main character, just characters in general. They had layers and arcs. The few backstories that we got were really well presented, and they fit the character, and they didn't feel forced, and we just, throughout this story, we get to know the characters and what their desires, and if they're morally gray or black. You can't even see my mouth when I said that. But just like, characters are so good. Relationships. Ooh. I really love the relationships in this story, and just the interactions and the friendships and the romances. Again, as I said in The Red Queen, I should not read romances. But just one of the main things that the main character struggles with is trying to fit in. She never feels like she fits in anywhere she goes, and home to her is less of a place and more of a people, and so you get that in the relationships, which I really enjoyed. There's also some complicated relationships that like maybe they were kind of on like the bad side of relationships, man. Like, you got your good relationships and then you got bad relationships, and they were kind of like in the middle but creeping over here. But I was still able to actually really enjoy them because they were written really well, and they were complicated and layered, and they had different aspects and different parts that fit together to make this confusing thing that you find the main character trying to figure out, and I loved it. There is obviously a love triangle in this book because it is YA. Yes, I did just say that every YA has a love triangle. I'm sorry. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was a bit biased in this love triangle. I rooted for the person that probably shouldn't be rooted for. That doesn't make any sense. I didn't exactly like the choice. Like, it was kind of like one of those things where you can like see the author kind of being like, you should maybe be with this person, but then like but then you're like, no, you should be with that person, but then I'm like, no, like, I want you to be with that person. It was a very complicated love triangle, and it was actually executed really well, I thought. In The Red Queen, we had a love triangle where it's like two people that fit really well together. Each one fit well together, and this one, they're like polar opposite. Like, anyway, it was a really good love triangle, and I really enjoyed the relationships in this. So the world in this story is really cool. This world has a hard magic system. I'm like 86% sure it's a hard magic system. Yeah, it's a hard magic system. And it was really cool and really unique. And I'm not gonna lie, it could be confusing. I don't know if it'd be less confusing if I was reading a book, because I listened to this on an audiobook, and maybe it'd be less confusing if I read it, but despite the few confusing aspects, it was really cool. And it was just really interesting as well. We also had geography, just not like, this is where you live, this is where you live. Just sort of seeing the world around them and this war-ravaged world. And even though there isn't like a map telling you like, oh, this is there, and then if you go down this river, they did a good job, the author did a good job of establishing where they are in their kingdom, what parts there are of the kingdom, what the nations and countries and kingdoms around them are like with each other. The society was really well executed, with like the royal court, to the peasants, to the Grisha, which are like their own thing, but at the same time they're intertwined with everything, and the author did a really amazing job with that. Also, just how magic is used and how it's perceived by people and how it's organized. All super well done, all super interesting, all created amazing details and just such great, just, what's the word? Embellishes to the book. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. But that was just really cool, and I really liked it. It could be a little confusing at times, but overall, super great. We also got some history and like some legends, but they were never just like pushed in your face. They were just there. They felt like it would it felt appropriate for it to be there. It was never out of place or forced. It felt like this should be here. There was foreshadowing in this book, which was sometimes very subtle, sometimes not subtle at all. The not so subtle stuff was stuff that would usually be like a cliche sort of, so I'd be like, I see what you're doing here. I was able to predict some of the stuff in this book, but I was still able to really enjoy it too. The ending, like, I had an idea of what the ending was going to be like, and then towards the end it was like, oh, maybe it's not going to be that. And then it was that, but also wasn't that. I wanted a different ending. I realized reading this book that I am evil and I don't have a soul, because reading this book I was like, wow, I can't believe I just wanted that to happen. I'd be like, no, you were supposed to die, or something like that. Anyway, but it just did a really good job with surprising you, or if you knew something was coming, you got the anticipation for it and stuff. So overall, great job with foreshadowing. There were a few things I was like, I think I kind of saw that coming. But then I'd still be surprised, be like, oh wait, I didn't see that part of it. So overall, really good. This book was written so well. Just written so well done. The rhythm in this book, the voice in this book, the elements, all of it was just exquisitely put together. And there were elements that were similar to other things, but they also felt new, sort of, like, obviously, like, the love triangle, or just, like, plot lines or storylines or characters that you usually see in most books were still just, they didn't feel stale or cliche. They felt right, and they were interesting to read, and I enjoyed it a lot. The information and, like, descriptions and just exposition, one thing I realized with this exposition is it's spread out really well. Like, there were times where I was just like, I just want to know what this is. Can you just give me, like, a paragraph on what this is? Like, thought dump, please. But this author spaced it out really well. They never gave you more than you needed when you needed it. They never forced anything down your throat. It was all placed perfectly, and I really, really appreciated and loved that. I listened to the audiobook of this, and I highly recommend it. Whoever, I forgot who narrated this, but whoever did an amazing job. So exceptional. Like, it was really good audiobook. I highly recommend you listen to it. I think it's on, like, Audible and YouTube. But, like, the voices, like, there was tons of accents and voices that really helped with world and characters. And, like, I'm so happy I listened to it, because, like, one of the characters had such just, like, they all had such unique speaking ways. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. No, you don't. Just, like, I highly recommend that you listen to the audiobook, because it was phenomenal. So, just, like I said on the ending, like, with the Red Queen, like, the ending of that book, like, it made me mad, but I loved the ending so much of this. This made me mad. Not disappointed. Like, I was very happy with the ending, but it didn't leave me the same way that the Red Queen left me. Like, the Red Queen left me was just like, I'm so mad at you, but I loved the fact that you did that. And this was more just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening, you know. But I overall really did like the ending. Like, I'm not trying to bash on the end and be like, no, I liked the ending. I liked the book as a whole. Just, wow. I was so surprised by this book. It made me really angry, and it made me really happy, and it made me lots of other things, soulless being one of them. It was written beautifully, and I loved it. I loved this author's writing style and voice so much. It was original and gripping. It had layers and depths, and honestly, just like the first 2.5 hours, I was just grinning so wide, and I was just like, I wasn't even breathing, like I couldn't breathe for almost 2 hours because I was just smiling so much that like I'd constantly have to just pause and just like, because I was like hyperventilating because it was so good and I was enjoying it so much. It's not what I expected. I don't even know what I did expect, but I wasn't expecting this. It was just a really, really great book. Just so good. I'm really starting to not like star ratings, but in case you want one, I'd probably say this is like a 4.6 to like a 5-star book. Yes, that is vague, I know. But I highly recommend it. I would say the age level on this is a bit more mature. Like, I'd probably say like mature 15 to 16 to like 18-year-old, which is kind of the demographic for like YA. But I would say there are some mature elements that like definitely, I like looked at some parents' ratings and they didn't exactly have all the information there, so a few things kind of took me by surprise. Nothing overly like my eyes, but there were just something, just go and being prepared that there are some mature elements. But it was amazing still. I loved it. It's a new favorite. Super, super good. And did I tell you guys that I haven't read a single book since The Red Queen, which was like a month or 2 ago? And this was the first book to help me get out of my rut, and now I'm gonna be stuck on another hangover. Anyway, go read this book. Go to your library, go to Audible, go to YouTube. I don't care. Just go find this book and read it because it's fantastic, okay? I loved this so much. I love this book so much. It was just so amazing. I really did. Anyway, I loved it. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below if you've read this book. I don't want any spoilers for this series. I know that it has 2 more books, and then those books are all prequels to another series. Don't tell me anything. Just don't spoil it, please, for me. But I'd love to chat with you about it and just hear what you guys thought of this book. If there are books like this, then please recommend them to me. Just thank you so much